Chapter 6, Winners. In Mount Better School that afternoon, Nellie watched proudly as Samantha pinned her award onto the wall. "Can I hear your speech, Samantha?" Nellie asked. There was no doubt in Nellie's mind that her friend's speech would be the best ever written since Abraham Lincoln's. Samantha cleared her throat and used her most proper voice. She repeated her speech just as she had at the academy, remembering with a thrill the applause that had followed it. She finished proudly and then looked at Nellie for the praise she was sure would be coming. But Nellie was staring at the floor and running her finger along the edge of the cushion. "Well," asked Samantha. "It's very nice," said Nellie in a voice that said it really wasn't nice at all. Samantha felt hurt. "What's the matter with it?" she asked. "It's very nice. It's just not very true," said Nellie. "What do you mean?" I used to work in a factory, Samantha. It's not like that." Nellie had worked in a factory. Samantha had almost forgotten that. "Well, what's a factory like then?" she asked. Nellie was quiet. She was remembering things she didn't want to remember. "I worked in a big room with other kids," she said firmly. 20 others, I guess, but that didn't make it fun. We couldn't play. We couldn't even talk. The machines were too noisy. They were so noisy that when I got home at night, my ears were buzzing and it was a long time before I could hear anything. We had to go to work at 7 in the morning, and we worked until 7 at night, every day but Sunday." Nellie continued, "I worked on the machines that wove the thread. There were hundreds of spools. We had to put in new ones when the old ones got full, and we tied the thread if it broke. We had to stand up all the time. I got so tired, Samantha. My back hurt and my legs hurt and my arms got heavy. The machines got fuzz and dust all over everything. It was in the air, and it got in my mouth and made it hard to breathe." Nellie was quiet again, but she went on. "The room was awful hot in summer, but it was worse in winter because there wasn't any heat. Our feet nearly froze. We couldn't wear shoes." Samantha was shocked. "You couldn't wear shoes?" she asked. "We had to climb on the machines to change the spools, and shoes could make us slip. The machines were so strong they could break your hand or your foot or pull a finger off as easy as anything. We only had to have our hair short. If your hair was long, the machines could catch it and pull it right out. But they just kept whining. Once I saw it happen to a girl. She was just standing there, and then suddenly she was screaming, and half her head was bleeding. Half her head was bleeding. She almost died." Nellie was running her finger along the edge of the cushion again. "They paid us $1.80 a week." She looked straight at her friend. "That's why thread is so cheap." Samantha stared at Nellie. She couldn't move. She felt numb and cold, but her scalp was tingling and her arms had a strange ache in them. The Mount Bedford Opera House was used for most of the town's special events. It served Mount Bedford for everything from roller skating parties to concerts. On the evening of the Young People Speaking Contest, it was filled with wooden chairs. The contest speaker sat on the stage, facing parents and friends from all over town. Grandmary sat in the second row, wearing a gray silk dress and looking calm and stately. Nellie sat with her mother near the back of the room. She looked shy and out of place. And the president of the Mount Bedford Ladies Club stepped to the front of the stage, smiling and bobbing her head. The room grew quiet. She welcomed everyone, then introduced the speakers and told what schools they represented. Then it was time for the speeches. One of the boys from Lessing School told about a new building that was 20 stories high. He said that from now on, all cities would be different because of it. Another boy talked about automobiles, and someone spoke about electric lights. A girl from the public school talked about medicine. She said people didn't get sick as much as they used to. Then it was Edith Edelton's turn. Edith walked to the front of the stage like an army general. She paused for a moment with her head a little to one side. Then she boomed out her speech in a voice meant to reach the opera house doors and beyond. "We are indeed fortunate to live in this age of progress. Progress in the great American adventure. In the old days, a man had to work all day and all night to support himself and his family. But now, in modern America, Great machines can be a great benefit to everyone. Now everyone can have all he needs without a difficult struggle. Fortunes can be made now as ever before. Now, with the help of machines, anyone can become wealthy. What a great opportunity man has in the 20th century. Are we not fortunate to live in this great age of progress? Everyone clapped loudly as Edith returned to her chair in triumph. She sat down, smoothed her dress, and smiled at Samantha. Then Samantha heard her name called. She walked to the front of the stage calmly. She didn't look at Miss Crampton and Miss Stevens. She knew what they were expecting her to say. But she had learned something more about factories from Nellie, and now she has something else to say. Samantha stood tall and looked straight ahead. In her mind, she could hear the words she had been practicing ever since her last lesson in Mount Better School. Americans are very proud of being modern, Samantha began. We are proud of our progress. We are proud of the machines in our factories because they make so many new things for us. But Americans are proud of being truthful too. If we were truthful, we would say that the factory machines make things fast and cheap, but they are dangerous too. They can hurt the children who work in the factories. The machines can break their arms. They can cut off their fingers. They can make children sick. And children who work in factories don't have time to play or go to school. They are too tired. Samantha spoke calmly and clearly. She had discovered something. She had discovered that it is easy to talk to people, even to many people, if you really believe what you are saying. If our factories can hurt children, then we have not made good progress in America. Samantha continued, and I believe Americans want to be good. I believe we want to be kind. And if we are kind, I believe we will take care of the children. Then we can truly be proud of our factories and our progress. Samantha had discovered that it is easy to talk to people, even to many people, if you really believe what you are saying. As Samantha walked back to her chair at the end of her speech, there was a long silence. Grandmary looked a little shocked. How could Samantha have known about such things? Then Grandmary looked back at Nellie. Nellie was sitting with her back straight and her eyes shining, and Grandmary understood. She understood a great deal. A proud smile spread across her face, and she began to applaud. Her applause joined the clapping that began all over the room and grew into a long, loud roar of approval. Edith Edelton looked rather like a snowman that had been left too long in the sun. The girls were eating cookies and little cakes with pink frosting. Mrs. Hawkins had made them a whole pitcher of lemonade. They sat on cushions with napkins spread on their laps, feeling very pleased with themselves. Nellie sighed happily as she finished a cookie. She leaned back against the wall. I'm glad we're celebrating today, Samantha. Something nice happened to me, too. Oh? Said Samantha, eager to share her friend's good news. What? Nellie smiled shyly. I moved to 3rd grade. Samantha jumped up, spun around, and clapped her hands. Nellie, that's wonderful! That's just wonderful! Then she stopped and looked at her friend. Nellie didn't look as happy as she should. You didn't tell me right away, Nellie. What's wrong? Asked Samantha. Nellie looked down at her napkin, but she looked back at Samantha. I have a desk next to Eddie Ryland. Samantha's eyes grew wide as she sank back to the floor. Ooh, Nellie, she said with feeling. Both girls were quiet for a minute, but Samantha pushed the cookies away and reached for a book. Hurry up and finish your lemonade. We've got to start studying. You've got to move up to the head of the class.